We bring you the lunch edition of MBC News with me, Upile Kaisa. The headlines. Government reaffirms its unwavering commitment to Africa's development agenda. Religious leaders commended for overwhelming response to President Mutharika's call to lead in national prayers for rain amid dry spells. And Malawians cautioned against reusing empty pesticides containers. And now the news in detail. Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, George Chaponda, has reaffirmed Malawi's unwavering commitment to Africa's development agenda as championed by the new Partnership for Africa's Development. Chaponda, who represented President Mutharika at the NEPAD Heads of State and Government virtual meeting, emphasized Malawi's continued support for regional integration, sustainable economic growth, infrastructure development, and people-centered development initiatives aimed at transforming the African continent. The minister further underscored the importance of collective action among African states in addressing shared challenges and advancing inclusive development in line with the African Union Agenda 2063. The virtual meeting brought together heads of state and government and senior representatives from across the continent to review progress and strengthen cooperation under the NEPAD framework. Religious leaders across the country have been commended for their overwhelming response to President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika's call for national prayers for rain amid dry spells affecting several districts. Speaking with MBC, Presidential Advisor on Religious Affairs, Apostle Timothy Koviwa, expressed gratitude to faith leaders for mobilizing their congregations to pray for rainfall.
First and foremost, I would like to thank Professor Peter Mutharika as the president of this nation for showing leadership and godliness when he saw that in some areas like 19 districts are going through dry spells. So he called upon religious leaders from different faiths to come together in their respective gatherings to pray for the rains. That is leadership, that is godly leadership, and I would like to appreciate for the president for directing this country to prayer. I would like to thank all religious leaders as the chief presidential advisor on religious affairs for taking heed to what the president had said. We have seen it was overwhelming to see how much churches and different other denominations, Muslims and other faiths coming together to pray for the rains. And we can all witness that from the day the president actually made it clear that let's come together and pray, starting from Friday, Saturday and Sunday, heaven responded.
Agriculture economist Horace Peary has called on technocrats and stakeholders in the agriculture sector to exercise greater care when setting crop estimates and minimum farm prices. Peary stressed that while crop estimates and prices are meant to protect smallholder farmers and guide production, but they must also be based on solid evidence rather than rushed decisions. Our reporter George Banda speaks to Peary.
Our predictions or our expectations in terms of how much crop we have in the country, they need to be looked at. At the same time, the pegging of a higher minimum price that we had this year perhaps also needs to be revisited in how we come to estimate or to establish the minimum prices, because markets don't lie in the sense that the prices that we were experiencing now are the true reflection of what the prices should have been for the commodity. So it means our minimum crop gates were slightly higher, and unfortunately it means that now we have to trade at prices that are below. But all the same, I think it's something that can happen, and it really calls on our experts and our duty bearers, the ministry and other stakeholders to relook at how we do things in terms of estimation, but also the setting of the prices so that it's close to the reality on the ground.
A nutrition expert says a lot of Malawian farmers understand the need to use yellow maize, which has high nutritional value as compared to white maize. An associate professor of human nutrition at Lilongwe University of Agriculture and Natural Resources, Luana, Dr. Alexander Kulimbira, Dr. Alexander Kalimbira says government and various players under the National Nutrition Multi-Sector Strategic Plan of 2025 to 2030 is ensuring that the country has an increase in the consumption of food crops rich in vitamin A, including yellow maize. Dr. Kalimbira speaks to Godfrey Maucha.
Maize is superior to white maize because it contains vitamin A in the form of components that when they enter the body, they convert to become vitamin A. Vitamin A is an essential nutrient. It's something that every human being needs every day because it participates in various, in helping to keep us healthy. For example, good eyesight, a strong immune system, healthy growth of children, and also renewing ourselves every day as we live so that we continue to live a healthy life. So vitamin A contains, yellow maize contains that component which is called vitamin A, which white maize does not have.
Member of Parliament for Mulanje South, Santiago Piri, has called on government to invest more in agro-processing industries to help farmers access reliable markets. Piri says many farmers in his constituency are struggling to sell their produce, especially pineapples. Zione Chisale has more in this report read in our studios by Chisomo Break.
The Mulanje South parliamentarian said many farmers in his area grow pineapples in large quantities, but they fail to earn meaningful income because there are very few companies in Malawi that process pineapples into finished products. His remarks come as Tadzuka Nanazi Producers and Marketing Limited, a farmers group from traditional authority Sunganinzelu in Mulanje, is seeking support to improve production and marketing. The group says it has abundant pineapples but lacks a structured market. Members are now appealing to the government and development partners to provide machinery for processing juice and other pineapple products. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Trade and Industry says government is committed to promoting the establishment of factories across the country. The ministry spokesperson Patrick Bota says processing pineapples and other fruits locally would help Malawi earn foreign exchange, create jobs for young people, and increase government revenue through taxes.
Yeah, so it's no secret that we as a country we lose a lot of fruits due to maybe the fact that we haven't invested much, or we haven't taken aggressive innovation into a value addition of the fruit sector or fruit industry. I'll just give you an example. During mango season, we have a lot of mangoes in Malawi, but most of the mangoes just rot because beyond us eating them as raw fruit, very few people or very few entities have taken that other step to actually value add, whether to dry them as raisins or to process the mangoes and other fruits into juice, also and other products that can come from that single value chain.
Bota added that government has put in place various policies and structures, including district trade and agricultural offices, to provide farmers with business advisory services, group management skills, and assistance in preparing proposals to access loans.
Government has assured people in Chitipa of its continued commitment to improving quality of education in the country. Deputy Minister of Education, Science and Technology, Francis Foley, made the remarks when he inspected newly constructed twin science laboratories at Chitipa Secondary School and School Block Library and ICT Laboratory at Meru CDSS in Chitipa, built under the Equity with Quality and Learning at Secondary Equals project. Joseph Mugia has filed this report, read by Blessings Gondwe.
According to the Deputy Minister, the facilities are a sign of government commitment to improving access to quality education in the country. He emphasized the need for the schools to take care of the facilities and ensure that they are used for the intended purposes.
Today we are here at Meru CDSS trying to inspect, to monitor, to see how this free secondary education has commenced so far, and also, if any, at an area stage, try to identify challenges if they are there, so that we can solve them out at an area stage.
Haskat Kamisa, a Form 4 student at Meru Community Day Secondary School, commended the government for the constructing the new laboratory, noting that it will help the students improve their performance in science subjects. Kamisa noted that the introduction of free secondary school education is a life changer for many students.
We say thank them for giving us like computers, which will help us to search more information concerning about education, which will lead to high education to us.
In total, 9 secondary schools in Chitipa have benefited from the ECOS project, receiving various infrastructure developments and learning materials.
This is MBC News. A reminder of our top stories. Government reaffirms its unwavering commitment to Africa's development agenda. Religious leaders commended for overwhelming response to President Mutharika's call to lead in national prayers for rain amid dry spells. And Malawians cautioned against reusing empty pesticides containers. Welcome back. Most farmers in the country are reusing empty pesticides containers for domestic purposes, a move that Farmers Organization Limited has described as a threat to humans and the environment. Speaking in an interview with MBC, Farmers Organization Limited National Sales Manager Ronald Chilumpa says these containers are still contaminated with chemicals that are harmful to human beings and the environment, hence the need for farmers to stop using them. Chilumpa has since advised farmers to collect such containers and return them to their suppliers for proper disposal.
We are also looking at a disposal of empty containers. That's also a serious problem that we've got at hand in this country, especially with the small-scale farmers who happen to use these empty containers for domestic purposes. So keeping salt, water in pesticide containers, that is risky. And we need to have in place a structure which makes sure that the empty containers is retained for disposal. We do have, as Farmers Organization, a facility in Lilongwe for managing empty containers. But collection from small-scale farmers is difficult because one, farmers are using these empty containers, as I've mentioned, for domestic purposes, and they need an incentive to hand over. But also collection of those empty containers from the farmers is difficult. It's expensive to go around and collect small bottles from all over the remote areas. So this, we need collaborative efforts, and that's what I've spoken with the board chair, that stakeholders must sit down and find a way of making sure that the small-scale farmer is able to retain the empty containers. For the large-scale farms, it's not difficult because they are able to retain these empty containers for recycling.
Chief Executive Officer for the Malawi Stock Exchange, John Kamanga, has highlighted the need for stakeholders to create platforms aimed at advancing research initiatives focusing on tackling pressing societal challenges. Kamanga made the remarks during the inaugural School of Business and Economic Sciences Conference organized by the Malawi University of Business and Applied Sciences, MUBUS, in Blantyre. George Banda has the details.
Kamanga emphasized that creating platforms aimed at advancing research initiatives focusing on tackling pressing society challenges are critical for generating practical solutions aligned with the real-world needs.
This conference is trying to come up in terms of the role of the research in how actually it can impact on the policies which the government actually does, or even in terms of the corporate world. Sometimes you find that in the corporate world we come up with policies which are not backed up by research, and therefore you find that we start blaming the policies that it is not yielding the intended results or intended objective. So this conference is basically trying to fill in that gap whereby we have the research which is evidence-based and which has got an impact.
MUBA's Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Ishmael Kosam, noted that research plays a vital role in strengthening evidence-based policies, thereby contributing to sustainable development and economic progress of the country.
We organize this conference as a platform for showcasing what our researchers and innovators are doing and how we can contribute to society in terms of solutions with the challenges that society is facing. So this is where we also meet various policymakers, practitioners, captains in industry, and we know that research does not just have to gather dust in our shelves, but rather it has to inform policy direction and also link it to the general international drive.
Noel Libiba, a PhD student in strategic management at the institution, said the conference will enable delegates and researchers to implement policies aimed at developing the country.
Research basically is supposed to provide solutions to our problems. We find that most of the solutions we have, they're just documented and tied on the shelves. So it's a good setup that MUBAS has actually taken, and a good approach that we need to involve everyone, including people in the private sector. Elsewhere, development is driven by research, and therefore even major corporations, they have a proper research and development where they employ over 50,000-60,000 researchers only. How many do we have in Malawi?
The conference was held under the theme Harnessing Sustainable Prosperity and brought together educators, researchers, policymakers and stakeholders to discuss the transformative impact of business and economic sciences in fostering inclusive growth. George Banda, NBC News, Blantyre.
At least 68 learners with visual challenges in some parts of Lilongwe have received eyeglasses from Realizing Inclusive and Safe Education RISE project aimed at supporting education for children with disabilities. Lilongwe Urban, Rural East and West RISE project officer Prifaka Idzeka said the distribution of assistive devices to learners is part of the organization's initiative to support such children access education. Catherine Banda reports.
According to Lilongwe Urban, Rural East and West RISE project officer Prifaka Idzeka, the eyeglasses provision follows a medical assessment that was conducted and recommended that 411 learners in some parts of Lilongwe and Dedza were in need of assistive devices, including eyeglasses. He believes the eyeglasses will provide much-needed support to students who were not able to clearly see in class. He said the project is extending its support to other learners that have various forms of disabilities with assistive devices like wheelchairs, among others. Additionally, Kaidzega said for sustainability purposes, they are implementing the project with government through the Ministry of Health and Lilongwe District Health Office.
We are distributing the glasses to such learners that we are seen to have eye problems. Learners are facing a number of challenges. One of it is access to school, because some of them do not have an ability to see clearly. Some of them have got mobility challenges. So because of such problems, they're not actually able to get to schools.
On his part, Lilongwe Urban Inclusive Education Coordinator Harid Chigadza said the project is helping in reducing absenteeism of students with disabilities.
The project area in the four zones, that is the Shile zone, Shinsapo zone, Mvungudi zone and the Boma zone. We have almost 1,800 learners with diverse needs. But the attendance this time is very high as compared with the previous days before the project was in progress.
RISE project is a Scottish-funded initiative under government-to-government arrangement implemented by the Link Community Development Malawi, reaching out to 111 schools and 11 resource centers in 4 education districts of Lilongwe and Dedza. Catherine Banda, NBC News, Lilongwe.
Deloitte Malawi has described tree planting as an important aspect in mitigating climate-related disasters in the country. Deloitte's managing partner, Christopher Kapenda, made the remarks during a tree planting exercise in Michiro, Blantyre.
It is very important because we believe that if we take care of the environment, of nature, then we can coexist, live together, beneficially together with nature. Nature has been fighting back. We have seen, global warming effects, the excessive flooding of our many areas in Malawi. Not too long ago we had Cyclone Freddy, where lives were lost, property was lost, even hills, various infrastructure, many sorts of infrastructure were damaged because of that. But it is largely because of climate change, because we have neglected taking care of the environment. So that's why it's important. The people of Deloitte see it necessary that we should take care of the environment, because we have what we believe in our purpose, which is making an impact that matters. And that impact includes purpose beyond profit. We shouldn't just focus on how am I profiting.
For 3 years now, Deloitte, through a partnership with Wildlife and Environmental Society of Malawi, WESM, has financed the planting of over 180,000 trees as part of its reforestation drive. WESM Environmental Education and Communications Manager Oswald Bonongwe hailed Deloitte for the partnership.
It has been a quite interesting process. The most interesting thing is that we surpassed the target. In the first year, we fell short with 10,000 trees. We raised 40,000, but in the second year, we raised 60-something thousand, and in the third year, we have raised 82,000, surpassing with 34,000 seedlings in 3 years. So we have achieved the target. But in the process, there have been a lot of issues, including the dry spells in different places where we targeted to plant the trees. So, but all in all, because when we are planting trees, we work with the established community institutions that we already work with, like the wildlife clubs, the village natural resources management committees in different areas. So our survival rate has been very good. On average, it has been 84.6% survival rate for the 3 years, and for the past 2 years. But when we evaluate after this year 3, we are going to have the final average. So it also depends on how the lands have been distributed in different places, but also the efforts we are putting in to make sure that the communities are able to look after these trees. So it has been a very exciting process.
And that's the news for now. A recap of our top stories before we leave. Government reaffirms its unwavering commitment to Africa's development agenda. Religious leaders commended for overwhelming response to President Mutharika's call to lead in national prayers for rain amid dry spells. And Malawians cautioned against reusing empty pesticides containers. Keep up to date with our news coverage on our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You are with me, Obile Kaisa. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
What's your name? Gary, huh? It's my game.
We put everything into this. Those that can do it and succeed,
how to fix it.
This city has been just a cookbook.
It's part of being hit here
with the latest global news and insightful documentary.
Transition.
Understanding the
But if you ask them know me. I know they blow trees.